Everybody. Welcome to another It Is Possible Tuesdays with Sanjo. As usual, let me remind you that in Jeremiah 29:11, we are told, "For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. They are plans for good and not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope. With God, all things are possible." This evening, I have a very special guest. I'm not going to introduce her to you. Somebody else is going to introduce her to you. Listen and watch closely. Philip, give me number one. And I know my guest is wondering what's going to happen. And you won't be disappointed. Are we cued, Philip?
Hello everybody. I've been asked to introduce the guest for today, and quite interesting, I know the person very well. They're my sister, Del, and I just want to introduce her, just tell you a little bit about her. So she's the firstborn from our family, from the Career family. First of my siblings, eldest sister. I know that she loves the Lord, and I know that she does all that she does with a willing heart, and she's very focused, very determined, very resilient, and I know that she's dedicated to God's work and to raising her family as well. So without further ado, I hope that you'll listen to the words and the encouragement and testimony from her, and I hope that you will gain a blessing throughout your lives as well.
Very special guest, as you can see, is lovely to look at. She's a daughter, she's a big sister, she's an aunt, she's a wife. Her friends know her as Del. I'm going to ask her to introduce herself in terms of her name. Somebody else is going to do a bit of an introduction afterwards, but I'd like her to tell us her full name, the one that's on her birth certificate. Go right ahead, Del.
My full name, well, it's Delavan Kadisha Baxter.
All right. All right. A very interesting name. And one of the things I like to ask people, Del, is who gave them their name? Does the name have a meaning? And what is the meaning?
Gosh. Well, my mum gave me my name.
Okay.
My name. She had a friend in Trinidad growing up, and she really liked the name of this friend, and decided, I think, that if ever she had a daughter, that she would name her Delavan. That's the story that I've been told anyway.
That's a lovely story. It's a story in honor of a great friendship. Lovely. Does it have a name?
As in a meaning?
Yeah. Does it have a meaning? Sorry, how did I? Does it have a meaning?
No, I knew what you meant, Sam. It's all good. I don't know. I think it might be slightly French, but I don't really know. I'm not really sure.
No
Possibly,
problem.
maybe, yeah.
I'm giving you homework. I'm giving you homework. But thank you very much for introducing your name to me.
Hello, everybody.
And Philip, whenever you're ready, just give me a signal that you can use number one. All right. But we're going to get started. So we have the name of the lovely lady sitting with me. I'm very happy that you're here with me. Totally excited that we have made it here. And yeah. I just want to start off with some basic questions. Where were you born? And if you don't mind, because I know there's some ladies who are a little cautious about telling me their age. If you don't mind, you could tell us, if you want, the year, but if not, just the month and the date. So where and when were you born?
Okay, so I was born in a town just outside London called Harlow, in the county of Essex. I've got no worries about sharing my age. My husband shares my age to people all the time. I am 45 years old.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. And as an older woman, I can tell you don't look 45, you look younger. So thanks be to God for that.
Praise
Lovely.
Thank you.
All right. So you were born in Harlow, you're 45. What was like for you growing up in Harlow?
Oof. Life was, as all things go, I think pretty good. You know, my parents worked hard. Parents worked really hard. And I think growing up in a predominantly white area at the time, obviously kind of faced some challenges in terms of going to school, being called sort of racial slurs and names and things like that. But I never let it kind of affect me. Okay. Particularly, my parents were really good at handling that. But I think I was lucky enough to attend a church school. Loved my primary school. Shout out to St. James in Harlow, great school. Got really fond memories of that school. And lots of traveling to and from church, because obviously living in Harlow and then going to church in London, lots of weekend commuting. That's really my childhood.
Okay. Now, you mentioned about being in a predominantly white area at the time and encountering some amount of difficulty. You mentioned racial slurs. Mm-hmm. Now, was that in school or in the community or a little bit of both? And I know you said your parents were very good, but tell me a little bit about what they did to help you.
So I think mainly it was sort of in school. You know, I think people weren't really sure what I was. And so rather than using the N word, they'd use the P word, which is a little bit confusing. So I would get called that at school, interestingly enough. And so I remember going and speaking to my mum, I think it was, and saying, look, this is what people are calling me at school. Like, what's that about? I mean, I didn't really know what it was, but I knew I didn't like the way that they were saying that word directed at me. And for those people who know my mother, she's very direct, but in a really kind of assertive way, rather than sort of aggressive way. And she just said to me, Del, you know who you are. You know, this is who you are. Just ignore them. And I literally took that and ran with it, and I still do. You know, I don't get caught up in worrying about names people call me or don't call me, or I mean, that's more of a reflection on them than me. I think that's the message that I think that my mum and my dad sort of instilled in me. You know, and I was really conscious growing up that there were differences in for example, I'll give you an example. So for example, I remember school photo day, right? We would line up and all the kids would line up and the teacher would go along with the combs. This is before the days of, you know, health and safety and lice, right? So this is going back a long time. But they would comb everyone's hair right before the school photo. And they would always come to me and skip me because I don't think they were sure what to do with my hair, right? And so, and this is the great thing about having the parents that I have. My mum would just say, they'll just have a comb, go to a mirror and do your own hair. Rather than make a big thing about it, just carry on as normal, you know? And I love that. I love that. So that's just one example.
Yeah. I like that. And it's from then that you began to develop your strength of character.
Possibly, yeah, I would say so.
And I, you know, we don't often recognize at that age that our parents are laying a solid foundation for us, and then it's afterwards that we realize, now I know where I got that from, and how it has directed me. Now,
Yeah.
you spoke about going to a church school, and was it your faith-based church, or was it another faith-based church school that you went to?
Oh, it wasn't Adventist. It was Church of England.
Right.
Church of England school.
You were able to still enjoy it. I mean, you say you have fond memories.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was it because there was a commonality with your own faith and the school that you went to? What made it what caused it to have fond memories for you?
I think it was good that it wasn't weird that I believed in Jesus, for example. We would have prayer, you know, in school, that do communion in assembly. What might have been slightly weird is like, oh, you go to church on Saturday. You know, but explaining it in a way that helped them understand that I wasn't that much different. It's basically similar, just go to church on Saturday. It was fine. And so, yeah, you know, there's there's a lot of commonality in terms of belief systems. So it wasn't really too different.
Yeah. I think we're having some, thank you very much, Del. I'm just making a break now to Philip. Somehow I don't think our listeners on YouTube are getting our feed. I'm getting some indication that they're trying to log on, but there's a problem. I'm not quite sure if you can fix that for me, but while you're working your tech stuff behind the scenes, we're gonna continue. You spoke about the fact that there's a commonality, the fact that you believe in Jesus. The difference was that you went to church on Saturday. How much impact did that have on your interactions with your classmates? The fact that you had to go to church on Saturday.
Oh, I missed a lot of birthday parties, I'm not going to lie. Missed a lot of birthday parties. And in actual fact, I think I missed every school fete the entire time I was at my primary school.
But did that mean you didn't have friendships?
No, not at all. No, still had friendships.
Yeah.
Definitely still had friendships. I wasn't going to, no, not at all. Still had friends.
And just by these, I'm seeing you're being able to handle disappointment with a rather, for want of a better word, nonchalant attitude. Life is what it is. Let's get on with it. We will find other ways to incorporate that aspect of life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you went to St. James's as primary. What was secondary life for you?
Secondary school, again, totally down to my parents, really. They really worked hard to find me a decent secondary school, which meant travelling and getting the bus at 7:30 in the morning, which I hated, I'm not going to lie. But it was again, I think it's the Ecumenical Christian School, still around, long history, ex-Jewish school, I think actually it was.
Okay.
Based in east of London. So again, shout out to Davenant Foundation School, which then relocated to Loughton. Had really, in actual fact, I still keep in contact with my school friends from that school.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah. And again, even though it was I mean, I didn't encounter anything in terms of racism at all at that school, but still, I was probably the only, I think there's probably 3 of us that were not white in the entire year of about 180 pupils. So again, that kind of, you know, different, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Just get on with it.
Yeah.
Thing, yeah.
I like your approach to life. Different, but it's okay. Let's get on with it. Now, what is your occupation and how did your upbringing impact on the choice of career?
Oof. So I am a social worker by trade. but I've trained as a therapist. A bit of a weird one. So I think, I suppose it was more of a life journey than I think the influence of my parents that kind of made me go into that field. I didn't really know what I wanted. I had no idea what I wanted to do when I left school. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I think just life circumstances meant that I didn't go and do the qualifications that I thought I wanted to do. And I kind of just fell really into social work. I don't think it's by chance. I think it was kind of God's plan all along. But it wasn't a thing of, you hear stories of people saying, when, a 7-year-old say, when I grow up, I want to be a doctor and become a doctor. That was not my experience. I literally did not know what I was going to do, what I was going to be, which felt a little bit unsettling of what to say. Yeah, I think definitely what I definitely knew was that at some stage I think I wanted to help people, and I think I didn't know how or what or where or when, but I felt like actually that's, if I could sort of help people as part of what I wanted to do in the future, that would be cool.
So
it's just out of nowhere, and it's back together and in a really good space. And in some ways, I wish my husband was here actually, because he probably give a more balanced perspective. But I mean, we are, when people see our family, we're literally a miracle. We shouldn't really exist the way that we do, to be honest. We should be a statistic.
Yeah.
We should be a broken family. We should, all of these things. But what's interesting is, if you stay the path, and I've got to say, the 4 years, I was just like, God, what are you doing? What's going on? I don't understand what you're doing. I don't understand what you're down. And God just saying, just hold on down, and just hold on down. And I think, I don't want to hold on. Sometimes I would really argue. We've got to be like, I just don't want to hold on. Really, it's been a year now. It's been 2 years now. It's been 3 years now. How long is this going to be? But God's timing is impeccable. Really, I know we say it, but it absolutely is impeccable. And when God heals your family, right, he does it in a way that is, and bearing in mind I'm a therapist, so just a disclaimer, he does it in a way that no therapist can do it. I'm just going to say it like that. Therapy is good. It's important to be able to talk, and it's important that I say this, because I think sometimes we kind of steer clear of human intervention when it comes to talking therapists, but actually being able to speak and talk to people about what you're going through and how you're feeling is important. So you don't internalize, such a therapeutic word. You don't keep it inside. You don't internalize it. Yeah, but the best family therapist is Jesus.
Amen.
The best family therapist is Jesus, because he's able to give you that inside track to help you think, to help you act, to help you say or not say. Sometimes it's the not saying, just to, those sort of things. It's really important. And there are so many times when my husband and I would sit down and say, could you imagine if we didn't get together, how this situation would have been, or how this situation would have been? We wouldn't have been able to do this, to do this, to do this, to do this, and it's just too much to take on board. Sometimes you just can't think of it, because if you do, you just cry, because it's just overwhelming.
Yeah, as you're talking, I'm thinking the only word for God is amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
What he can do. Philip, can you give me number 6? Is it possible for you to give me number 6 at this time? And while we're waiting to see Philip do his magic, Dale, I have some things for you, and I hope to just drop them through as we're talking. But I'm going to share something that a member of your family shared with me.
Okay.
And she said I could share it with you. She said, and it's a she, so it's one of two people. She wrote this, and it's stuck on a wall in the house. It says, "Be optimistic. Anything is possible. Example is on your doorstep, literally." And she has your name as the example. And she said, these are the things that she looks at when she thinks of anything is possible, and she thinks of Dell. Seriously ill, had 2 operations, working full time, got her degree part time, home renovations time 2, mother times 4, and foster times 2. Wife, threat, separation, adopted Belinda, still makes time for family and friends. Church and her
Dell is a phenomenal woman.
You
because
can do it. Unbelievable. Now, I'm going to let you guess. Who do you think wrote that?
Oh. I don't know. Oh.
I'm not going to tell you, but you will know by the end.
Okay.
But this is somebody who obviously looks up to you, somebody who admires you, somebody who sees you as a goal. And I think when I've spoken to a number of people, they see you as someone to be admired.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about one of the things on this, and it's Belinda. Tell me a little bit about Belinda.
Our bonus ball. Oh dear, that little girl. I'll tell you. I'm going to tell you a bit about her, but I might keep some of the detail personal.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
So she's our 4th child. She's 4. She is the most energetic thing you'll ever see. I am tired. She is just like, I thought my boys, I say boys, they're not boys, they're
young men.
They're young men. I thought they were energy, but she rewrote the rule book. I'm not going to lie. She absolutely, and I know it's true because people in public will be like, will make comments. So I know it's just not me.
I think Dell is a phenomenal
She
woman.
basically came into our life unexpectedly, by us.
Yeah.
By us.
Yeah.
And that was a learning curve. She was born very premature. Very like 24 weeks. She was tiny. And we stepped in to look after her. And she has had a bit of a journey with her health because of her prematurity and other things. And we're still learning because she's not like our other children. She has different needs and she has different challenges, physical and developmental. But this is the good thing about God, right? So, so although I'm a social worker, okay, my first social work job was in CAMS, which basically, if you don't have it, it stands for Child and Adolescent Mental Health, right? And part of my role in that is to assess children and young people with significant mental health, or my previous job, should I say, I don't do it now, but also to screen for maybe neurodiversity. And what that means in English is this person might have underlying ADHD or autism, right? And so it's so interesting because there are some things that I see in Belinda that I understand because of my employment, which is just, and I think had I not been exposed to that and have some understanding of that, I mean, challenge is probably an understatement. I think it would be really quite difficult to understand and kind of adapt my parenting in a way that would help her. So I've had to change, not just it's a whole network thing.
Yeah.
You know, myself, my husband, our boys, the extended family, school, church, it's a whole thing to try and help people understand her. And, you know, when you see her do this, it's fine, it's okay.
Yeah.
She'll do things that may look a little bit random, but actually it's all right. And I just think that, yeah. So Belinda is she's a warrior. She's a soldier, absolutely. And just an inspiration in her own right, really. You know, if you ever want to see a fighter, you just have to look at her. And so she's taught us so much, I think, about ourselves as parents, but also it's just a reminder and a validation of the reason why we made the right decision to allow God to work in our family.
Yeah.
You know, so that she could come into a space that felt connected and felt together and unified.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to ask someone to assist me at this time. Thank you very much for sharing about Belinda, Dell. I have some treasures that I wanted to share with you, but I don't think technology is working with me today. So, Howard, are you by yourself or do you have your lovely wife with you? If you are, just give me a thumbs up, Howard. If you are with your wife. No. Okay. Dell, can you see any of the names of the persons who are with us today? You can see some names.
I see some, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Do you see any that are familiar?
I can see my mother.
Okay. And if your mom is there, then dad is there as well. Howard, are you okay. Howard, does that mean that your wife can talk? Is your hand up meaning that your wife can talk? We're gonna get there, everybody, and it will be well worth the wait. Technology is not my friend today, but guess what? It is possible. That's the name of the program. It is possible. Okay. Howard, if your wife can talk, can you unmute and allow her to talk? Put your hand down for me. Is that possible?
Hi.
Auntie Wilma, I am so sorry, but I'm going to ask you, oh, lovely. Can you share with me what you shared before?
Okay, I wasn't prepared. Hold on.
So sorry, but I had to throw you in the deep end. Dell, do you know this person?
Hi, Dell.
She's going to talk to you about something.
Hold on 1 minute and I'll see if I can do this. Hold on.
Okay. All right. So, Dell, a part of my program is where I have Tuesday's treasure trove. And I have people sharing treasures about my guests.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I can play it through the microphone.
Okay. Go ahead, Auntie Wilma, when you're ready. Oops. Auntie Wilma just disappeared a while ago. Did you see that? But she's going to reappear. That was not supposed to happen. It's gonna work, everybody. You're back, Auntie Wilma?
Yeah, are you ready? I'm sorry. Sorry, I was trying to play it via my phone for you.
Oh, I don't think it's going to work that way, Auntie Wilma, so we're gonna just have to get it live.
Okay, because I'm sitting in the car, so I don't actually have it with me, but I think I said something like, I think Dell is a phenomenal woman because she was such a neat baby bump in her mummy's tummy. I said that was number one. Number two, she has the ability to make an old-fashioned traditional hymn sound groovy. And three, she exudes a quiet confidence that makes everyone around her exhale.
It's a privilege for me to.
And I think that she possesses these things because she knows that her strength and her confidence come from the Lord. I just said that I was really happy to be a part of her life and to share her story. I think that's what I said.
That's exactly what you said, Auntie Wilma. Thank you ever so much. Del, your first treasure that I can share with you.
It's a privilege for me to speak about our lovely daughter, Del. She's beautiful inside and beautiful outside. What you see is what you get. And I'm so proud of her. As a young girl growing up, she was very, very helpful in the home. Always wanted to do things, always wanted to help us. And really appreciated that because she was quite tenacious, and whatever she finds herself doing, she gives her best. She likes to make things happen, and I love to be around her.
Speaking as mum, my memories of Dell as a child is that she was always fiercely independent, always keen to learn, always keen to succeed, and always eager to put things into practice. Dell is very interested in young people, be it their emotional, spiritual, educational, or even in their relationships. Dell is keen to interact and to support young people. And I must say that throughout Dell's life, the experiences that she's had have taught me quite a lot. And she has been an example to me of a good Christian woman. And I love her.
Amen.
Hello. What can I say about Del? Delavan Baxter, who was originally a career, my big sister, who looks after me pretty much all of my life. She is very hardworking. She's very community focused, I'd say. She loves people, and she always manages to calm things for some reason. She loves God, and she's just very stable. Like, she's one of those steady people who knows what she wants, it seems to me anyway, and is there to support you when you need it. I think that's a really good quality to have, and yeah, I'm blessed really to have her as my sister, because a lot of people I know rely on her or have relied on her, and she does a lot of great things, and she's a mum of 4, and yeah, that's Del.
I've been asked to do a 60-second video on what stands out to me about my wife, Del. Del is an extremely giving person. She will give her time, her energy into whatever anybody needs. She's an extremely self-sacrificing person. She will put everyone's needs in front of hers. She's an extremely loving person, very caring. She's a great listener, which shows in her professional work, as well as her relationships and her friendships. She is one of a kind for sure, and I'm very fortunate to have her as my wife.
She's a wise one. She's a wise one. Dell is a wise one. Now, does that sound familiar? Do you know who would say that about you? Not sure. I'm wondering if we have that person on this. Is the person who identifies Dell as being a wise person on this evening and they'd like to say to her themselves? If you are, just unmute your mic and say it. If not, and you're a little shy, that's all right. You're going to find out who it is, Dell, because that person. Okay, go ahead. Hello? You can go ahead and tell Dell why you think she's a wise person. Did I hear that person saying something, or did I?
You might have heard me answering you, Sanjo, probably.
Okay, no problem. But that recording was sent to me. Music was playing in the background, and the person the only thing the person kept on saying was, "She's a wise one. She's a wise one." So there are people who have recognized your qualities and are happy to share them with the world. They think of you as a phenomenal woman. You know, that is awesome. They are happy that you're in their lives. They love you. They are fortunate to have you as family, as wife, as sister, you know. And I am excited and I'm so happy. I'm so pleased that we were able to have you on this evening and just get a little taste of your story. And your story has many fascinating facets to it. I know you thought that you didn't have a fascinating story, but your story has been inspirational. As a child, you didn't allow the fact that you were met with racist slurs or racial slurs. You didn't allow that to affect you adversely. You didn't allow the fact that you were called names in secondary school to affect you. You use that as fodder for who you would become. A strong woman who would listen to others, you know, would make time for people, would give of yourself. And you recognize God's hand in your life. And you recognize that you're on a journey and you're constantly wanting to be better than you were yesterday. And that's what God wants us to be, you know, constantly climb towards being perfect in Him.
Yeah.
Well, it has been wonderful. You are our guest on It Is Possible Tuesday. We have thoroughly enjoyed listening to you. And you know, my Zoom listeners, I tend to do this a lot where I ask you, you know, is there anything you want to say to our guests? And we heard some things from close family, but for those of you who are meeting Dell for the first time today, is there anything that you want to share with her about how her story has impacted you this evening? And Dell, whenever I do this, they all go silent. But I'm going to see if things have changed, that anybody will say anything this evening. The floor is open for you. Just click your unmute button and share with us how today's program has impacted you. It is Possible Tuesday. I'm listening. Okay. Should I call some names and put them further on the spot? No, I'm not going to call any names. But Del, thank you very much for being with us this evening. And to those of you who were able to come on, thank you very much for being with us this evening. I know that you were blessed, even if you don't want to share it with me. I know you have been inspired, and I know that you are looking on your life and thinking, you know what? God has been amazing to me as well. He has come through, and I can see how He has worked in Dell's life. I think I can also see how He has been working in my own life.
Amen.
Well, any final words you want to leave with us this evening?
just a final word, which is taken from Psalm 91, verse 1. And this has been the thing that's kind of got me through so much. And it's, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty, which in English basically means God has got your back. If you stay with him, he's just going to see you through, even when you don't know, he's seeing you through something because you are his child and he knew who you were before even you existed. You know, just stay under his shadow. You're going to be fine.
Thank you very much. Your brother sent his recording. Unfortunately, we didn't get to use it because he would have introduced you. And the last thing he said when he introduced you was, I know she loves God. We have definitely seen your love for God this evening as you've shared your story, your journey, your experiences, your victories, your walk with the Lord. Amen. And as we come to the end, Del, thank you very much for sharing you. You actually were very transparent and you were very open with us. And we appreciate your vulnerability. We thank you for it. And we pray that the Lord will continue to hold you in the palm of his hand. It is possible Tuesday has come to an end. And you know, we say, once there is life, anything is possible. So be a doer and be a thinker and be a dreamer. All things are possible. All we have to do is believe. And remember, God says, for I know the plans I have for you. They are plans for good and not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope. Thank you very much for being with us on this week's It Is Possible Tuesdays with Sanya, my lovely guest. Del, thank you. Have a good night, everyone. See you in 2 weeks' time.
So very ordinary, nothing special on my home. Oh, I have never walked on water, and I have never calmed a storm. Sometimes I'm hiding away from the madness around me, like a child who's afraid of the dark. But when I call on Jesus, all things are possible. I can mount on wings like eagles and soar. When I call on Jesus, mountains are gonna fall. 'Cause he'll move heaven and earth to come rescue me when I call. La, la, la.
Thank you, everyone. Do have a very good evening. See you in 2 weeks' time.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, everybody. And